There are 24 epic brawlers, including the newest one. Since it's the largest rarity, I am going to be ranking every single epic brawler so you guys know where to spend your hard-earned credits and who to redeem at tier 25 on the Brawl Pass. To start, I'm quickly going to go through what I would call the F-tier brawlers. There's 3 of them for me, and all 3 of them are some of the worst tanks in the game. These 3 brawlers are Frank coming in at number 24, Hank coming in at number 23, and BB at number 22 for epic brawlers. And that pains me a little bit. BB is a very fun brawler to play. Hank brings me a lot of joy, but the fact of the matter is they don't have high carry potential. They're not great in the game. It's going to be hard for you to win at randoms the higher up you get. Unfortunately, they just don't make winning easy right now. Up next, we are jumping into what I would call the C tier of epic brawlers. These brawlers are not bad, but they certainly aren't huge for carry potential, not going to show up in a lot of competitive circumstances, and are just all around all right. Bonnie comes in at number 21, and she really has dropped off from her S and A tier days. I think she is very fun. She has the nice jump, love the circus act, but the fact of the matter is she's not going to be an option in higher league power league, higher league trophies, not a huge carry potential, just overall not the best right now. Throwing in a couple tanks real quick, we've got Sam at 20, and I'm going to put Ash at 18, and they're on the weaker side for these tankier brawlers, but I think they have enough matchups to where you can get away with them sometimes, but again, wouldn't recommend them in really competitive circumstances and on most maps. At number 19, Griff just doesn't wow me right now, and at number 17, Ims comes in, which may surprise some people. She's really solid for newer players, but in extremely competitive circumstances, the higher up you get in ladder, the matchups get tougher and tougher, and Ims is very circumstantial for her to really be a pop-off kind of player. Finally, Lola at number 16 can pack a punch, but she is not an elite brawler. She does some high DPS, comes in every once in a while in competitive, which are at the top of C tier and at number 16, but overall, not the strongest brawler. Brawler number 15 kicks off what I would consider the B tier. These are all pretty good brawlers, have maps and modes where they can do really well at, and some of them may even be top 10 choices for certain maps as well. So number 15 is going to be Mandy, the longest range brawler in the game, can dish out some serious hits from all the way across the map off screen, which can be very pesky to deal with, but she is a liability up close. Her map pool is very limited, and for that, I don't think I can rank Mandy any higher than this. At number 14, I have her first thrower on the list. It is going to be Grom. New players really struggle to go into Grom shots, but with the prevalence of Miko being free for everybody, him running rampant across the meta, and brawlers like Fang and Edgar being everywhere on ladder, Grom gets countered a lot of the time. He can still win. He's still not a bad brawler. I think he's definitely winnable, but because of those matchups, it's really hard for him to just excel. At number 13, we have my personal favorite brawler, and it is Gale. Gale is pretty good, a very good counter into tanks in bushy maps with visibility, with slowdown. He's really going to be able to help your team out, but he is very matchup dependent, and the fact of the matter is he's just not special right now, and that pains me. He had a ton of success at the World Finals, but I definitely don't think I can put him any higher into anything like an A tier or an S tier kind of brawler, despite my love for him. Number 12 is Stu. He is solid, a very good brawler, and I think a balanced one as well. He can make some explosive plays. There's going to be some flashy highlight reels you see from pro players across the world, but for an average Joe, it is really hard since he's a higher skill cap brawler, and since he's very balanced, he's not OP. You can't just walk forward with him and win the game, and for that, I think number 12 is about right for him. The next 3 brawlers are all sharpshooters, so starting at number 11, we have a B, who is one of the most played brawlers in 2023 for professional gameplay and across power league lobbies everywhere. B's just versatile. She does well into tanks, longer range, but as more brawlers have come out, more balance changes have happened across the board, she doesn't deal quite as well as she used to and can still be overwhelmed by enough tanks and enemies on the enemy team, especially spawners give her a lot of trouble as well, so I think somebody like Larry and Lori getting the mix here too is only going to make her life a little harder. Starting off our top 10 is going to be Nani. Nani is an excellent brawler with a really good kit to deal with other sharpshooters. Nani is going to be limited in the maps and modes you can play, so I think the ceiling for how high we can rank her is a little limited, but it's certainly a good one to have in your power league arsenal for the maps that she does do well. There's several knockout and bounty maps where she is going to be a top tier choice. Number 9 is Belle. I think Belle has a great kit and is really a Swiss Army knife of a brawler. You saw at the World Finals that there were players that had really good success with their players, like Bobby BS come to mind. You can make those pop-off plays. There's maps like Ring of Fire where you can use that Swiss Army knife, as I like to call it, and have nest eggs on the ground to defend against enemies, make it easy to line up those long-range shots. The bounce shot as well can do damage to other enemies, punishes them for clustering together, and of course the damage amplifier can go into higher HP brawlers and make it easier for you and your teammates to take them down. She is Miss Dependable and just very solid on a lot of different maps. Number 8 ends what I would consider the B tier of brawlers, and it honestly makes me a little sad. It's going to be Bo. Bo is somebody that for most players is not going to be the hardest one to conquer. He doesn't have the highest skill cap, but he went from being this upper echelon top tier brawler, and he's now dropped down so far, and it makes me really sad. Hit a few short weeks where he was in glory, but after the massive nerf that he got before the massive buff that he got, he's still better than he was before. Mines are still going to trip up a lot of players, which is why, especially if you're in that diamond or lower, you know, 500 to 750 ladder range, there are plenty of maps where Bo is actually going to be really good, but he's just no longer top tier. Number 7 begins what I would call the A tier list of brawlers, and I'm starting off with a hot take. If you watched my most recent video on underrated brawlers, you're going to know how I feel about this one, and it is going to be Pearl. Watch that video for more details, but it's upstated stats and kind of to reflect how good Pearl can be. Between 300 and 1,000 trophies over the past week and 13 million battles, Pearl has won 61.1% of her matches, which is absolutely insane. Her hypercharge, not the best in the world, especially compared to other hypercharges, but it is still a great brawler nonetheless. Number 6 is the best overall sharpshooter for me, and that is going to be Piper. Piper deals so much damage from long range and rewards you handsomely for connecting your shots. If you miss your shots though, you have 4 attempts with the gadget in gear combo to automatically hit your opponents as well. She's competitive, has multiple kits, and is consistent. Piper is a ton of fun if you want a long range option. Number 5 is a brawler I also think deserves more love. It is going to be Pam. Pam is excellent in modes like Knockout and Bounty. She's the ultimate closer for Knockout. If you get down to the final stages where Pam is in close quarters combat, you have a healing station. You have a gadget that can siphon shots from the enemy. She's going to do really well in the single shot brawlers, which Knockout is known for. And then there's going to be maps like Ring of Fire that she does well with. There's a lot of options for Pam, a lot of counterplay potential for Pam, and overall, this is just one of the best brawlers you can have from the Epic tier. Our final brawler of my A tier is going to be number 4, Colette. Colette has access to a hypercharge that is one of the best of the 18 hypercharges in the game right now. She is a menace on heist, can dish so much damage onto an enemy heist safe, and overall is just great into tanks, which are so prevalent in the game right now. She's good for the meta. She's good on a lot of maps. She has a hypercharge that's awesome. What's not to love? Now for my 3 S tier brawlers. These brawlers are some of the best in the game, can be played on so many maps and modes, have carry potential, are competitively viable, and even sometimes bannable in modes like Power League. At number 3, we have Edgar. Edgar mains are going to be very happy to hear that his hypercharge is arguably the best in the game. The chaining potential you have with Edgar's hypercharge, even after the nerf, is ridiculous. You're basically guaranteed to get it once a game too, so I think Edgar can thrive into all of these squishy brawlers. I actually think it's one of the options that's going to counter our future brawler here. The number 2 brawler on the list has skyrocketed up the charts and doesn't even have access to a hypercharge, but it's because it's the newest brawler in the game. Larry and Lori are so good. If you want more elaborate thoughts on them, be sure to watch my quick breakdown from a video I did a couple days ago, but Larry and Lori, arguably number 1 on this list. It's only been a couple days, so I don't want to overreact yet, but at the same time, they are definitely potential. In a couple days from now, I could totally change my mind and see them being at number 1. Finally, at number 1, and what might be the best brawler in the game, I definitely think it's top 3 right now. It is going to be Maisie. She's still so good. I'm keeping her at number 1 for now because of how consistent she's been for so long. She also has access to a hypercharge that is definitely one of the best in the game as well. Her pop-off potential, team wipe potential, all so high and way too common, to be honest with you. Additionally, she counter tanks, which are everywhere right now, and her mid-range can keep up with any brawler on the map. Again, I reserve the right to change my mind since Larry and Lori are so new. They very well could take over this list. They feel very good, a lot like when Kit came out, but Maisie has just been so consistent and so good. It is very easy to get those team wipes with her. So for now, I'm going to hold with Maisie, but Larry and Lori are excellent S-tier brawlers as well. Thank you all so much for watching, and since the Brawl Pass comes with a free Epic Brawler at tier 25, let me know if you all would like me to do this again for a future Brawl Pass season. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and we will see you all in the next one.